Welcome back to Epic Talks. I'm Marcus Y. Rozier, aka PM, is what they call me. I get the blessed privilege of leading an online faith, business, and personal development community of faith known as the Epic Nation. Now, Epic Talks, here's what's powerful. You already know if you're talking about it, we're talking about it. I think that all of us need a space that we can go find information we need. Just like we go visit Google when we have a question, we want Epic Talks to be a place that whenever you have a question pertaining to life, business, relationship, you name it, it's a one-stop shop for all of that. Everything from biblical context and study all the way down to interviews and conversations of culture. We want to make sure that we have it all for you. Well, last week, we got so many people talking about how they enjoyed what we discussed about the rules of relationship. It was our Valentine's Day conversation. Well, I decided to stay in that vein, but kind of flip it a little bit and deal with a really hard topic related to how to overcome or how to deal with a bad breakup. Now, everybody has experienced them. I don't care who you are, but I think that sometimes we think a little too tight. And when I say tight, I'm talking about like we view it like this, and the stuff to the left and to the right. So it's a tight view that we have of breakups, and I want to zoom out a little bit and have the conversation. But do me one favor before we get into tonight's conversation. I want you to go ahead and invite someone, tag someone, share this with someone to make sure that they get a chance to experience it, whether you are experiencing it live or checking out the replay of it. We would love to know your thoughts. Should we continue this? Is Epic Talk something we should continue? I want to make sure that that every moment that you invest, you're getting something back in return. And I want to make sure that we're investing information you need. Tell us, what are some of those questions that you have as it relates to the areas of your life? You already know. I'm gonna say it real quick. We believe that you ought to have all your needs met and have answers to questions from the Bible, that you know more about God, to the boardroom, that you advance in your career or your business, to the bank account that you got 99 problems, but money ain't one. You don't pray about what you can cash out, to the bedroom, that your intimate relationships. I ain't just talking about you being nasty, but I'm talking about that you got friends, community that loves and supports you, and you don't have questions about that. That's what we're focused on. So go ahead and make sure that somebody knows all about Epic Talks. Well, we might as well get into how to deal with a bad breakup. Well, family, I told you last week that the most precious thing about you is your heart. That I said, if you break a finger, the doctor could tell you, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up, put a splint on it, in 6 weeks it heals. If you fracture your ankle, they'll tell you elevate it, put ice on it, or they might perform surgery. If you mess up your knee, where I've had ACL and MCL surgery, well, it took me about 6 months of recovery, depending on what the injury was, and rehab. Well, what I was saying is there is no timeline to heal a broken heart. So if there is no timeline, what is the thing if there's a breakup that allows you the time to heal? And what is that process? Remember, there's not a timeline. There is a process for healing to heal a broken heart. I'll say it one more time. There is not a timeline. It's not a 6 week or 8 week. Somebody will say, y'all broke up a year ago. Yeah, but it still hurt. Because time is not, you've heard the quote, time heals all wounds. And I don't believe that. I think intentionality and process does. You have to be intentional about what you do to rebound, to make sure that, oh, I'm good, and the process. Okay, now some of you listening to me think that I'm talking about your boo, your bae, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, but it's so much bigger than that, because remember, we dug into family can break our heart too. When you have an expectation of mama or daddy to be something or do something that they refuse to do, friends, brother, sister, right? So don't just reduce your affection towards someone in a broken heart or intimacy. This is why I say to the bedroom as an allegory of intimate relationships. Don't reduce that. Friendships. Man, you remember them folks you was cool with that you look up now and you're like, I can't believe they hating on me online. I can't believe all of them went out to invite me. Whatever your scenario may be. So tonight, how do you deal with a bad breakup? Well, first and foremost, I just addressed to you this whole idea of heart recovery, but let's get into the do's and don'ts and let's deal with the categories. Well, first, I want to say to you, like to my people of faith, I think one of the conversations we never have in relationship to breakups is breaking up with the church. Because you build relationships with the people there, you build a relationship with the pastor, the organization. So some would never include that in the category of a bad breakup, but I know people who got bad experiences and call it church hurt where their heart was broken because they felt like they were used, abused, mismanaged. Well, some of the same aspects that was in a relationship, time spent, got to know each other, invested your money, got memories together, those same things are present with a church that's present with a bull bay. Would we agree? Like, would we agree in the chat? Those same things are present. You're like, oh, remember that time we had the church conference and we stayed up all night doing it? So you got the memories. And then you're talking to your boyfriend. Remember that time me and you? Same memories. Same. Remember that time we was listening to our favorite song? Remember that time the choir was singing? Same memories, same memories. But we never think about, we know that people say before you can move into a new relationship, you got to be healed from the last one. Well, what's the process before you can commit to another community of faith? How you rebound from the last one? How does your heart heal? And, there are guys and girls who take out whatever they said. Like, you ever had that moment where somebody did something to you and in retrospect, you dealt with it, you forgave the person, but then when you were out of the relationship, you're like, I ain't never putting up with that again. Because you remember it vividly, the moment you should have spoke up, should have said something. So you make a vow, if you ever get a hint that it's about to happen again, you like, oh, here it comes. Like you get, I'm talking about if you discern, if you feel like if they fix their mouth to say what the last person said, you like, oh, seen this before, right? So you brace yourself. Well, family, in the context of what I'm saying of a bad breakup in church, how in a relationship we might say we're never going to let that happen, so we take it out on the next person based on what the last person did. Say that cleaner. We take it out on the next person or the new person based on what the last person did. Well, I think sometimes we do that in a church space too. This assumption that if the last preacher had bad intentions, bad motives, or bad management skills of money, we think that every preacher is the same way. So this is why we got to deal with breakups within a church setting, because I'm going to give you some strategy now. Just because you broke up with that church should not mean that you broke up with God. Right? No, write it down. Write it down. Don't you skip. Just because you broke up with that church does not mean you should break up with God. What do I mean? Now, here's one advantage. Even for those of you right now, you're like, that's why I don't deal with church right now. I ain't been to a church since my childhood church. I got pregnant. They kicked me out, told me stand up in front of everybody. There's people who got this story. Or my last church, man, I did everything. I served up, and then my family was going through it. I called to set up a meeting and nobody would meet with me. Or my relationship was going through it. So you're like, I was there for you wasn't there for me. I broke up with that church. Well, fam, just because you broke up with the church doesn't mean you should break up with God. Meaning, where was your life at spiritually when you was connected to that church? Like, like you was reading, the way you was moving, thinking, you already know the kind of vibe you was on, your relationship with God. Now, I'm not saying that your relationship with God is solely based on that church. It should not be. But I'm saying I want you to go back to, like, what type of person were you when you were in the relationship with that church? Were you a better person? Now, somebody will say, I'm a better now. Okay, cool. But let's at least assess it. So when we're going through a breakup, let's assess the damage from that church to say, how does this, here's the question, here's the do's. Ask yourself this question: how does this affect my perception and my relationship with God? When I go through a bad breakup with a church, how does that breakup impact or affect my perception and my relationship with God? Oh, one more time. How does that impact me now? Compare this to a relationship. If you like, I don't trust people like that. I'm not ready to be in a committed relationship. I got trust issues. Does this affect in any shape, form, or fashion? Because I want you to realize breaking up with a church is not the same as breaking up with God. You can be in a functional, whole, healthy relationship with God and a dysfunctional relationship with the church and with the pastor and with his members, with his deacons, with his elders. So when we start talking about functionality, now, do I believe in church partnership, membership, service? 100%. But while you're in the process, I don't want you to take, like some people do, and go into the next relationship and be fully aware and have a long list of all the things you don't want in a person instead of the things you do want in a person. So I would ask you, if you are dealing with breakup from a pastor, what do you want in your next pastor? Like, before you say what you don't want and before you talk about what the past one did, get rid of the past. Now, what do you want from a pastor? What do you want? What do you expect? I want him to teach the word. Cool, write it down. That's what you should be looking for. You ought to create a dating list. When you go and start dating new churches, create your dating list. Oh, ooh, check that box. Hey, man, went into the Greek, the Hebrew, the Aramaic, like that. I want somebody who can speak my language. I want somebody that we have fun. Well, if that's what you're looking for in your church, ooh, you sit in the pew like, that was funny. I done laughed in church. Well, if that's what you wanted, you see the point I'm making. So when we're dealing with a bad breakup, the don't is don't make the connection between God and your church just because you broke up with the church does not mean you broke up with God. The do is I want you to assess the damage and make sure you write a detailed list of what you want. All right. Now that we dealt with it from the church perspective, we got to deal with this thing from breaking up with friendships. Ooh, one of the conversations I told y'all, dealing with a bad breakup, you probably thought I was just going to deal with how to block somebody's number and cuss them out. And you you thought I was going to be like Jasmine Sullivan. Well, number one, bust the windows out they car. No, I'm not even telling you that, fam. I'm not telling you that. But you see, my conversations is always, anytime I talk to people, I try to help them realize that there is one of you for everything that you're in a relationship with. I hope y'all don't miss that bar. There is one of you in a relationship with everything you're in a relationship with. Please don't miss that heavy bar I just hit you with. There is one of me in a relationship with my lady, my friends, my church, with God, with my business, with my clients. So there is one of me in all these relationships. So if something impacts me in one relationship, it sometimes can impact me in other relationships. So the reason why anytime I talk to people, I talk from a broader perspective, because we like to isolate things as if we don't carry all those things over into every compartment of our life. And we do. There's one of you in a relationship with everything. Like, there's one of you in a relationship with your mom. Mom, I want to check on you. Oh, hold on one second. This is my job calling. Right? There's one of you in a relationship with all these people, all these things. Guess what else? This is the part you miss. There's one of you in a relationship with you. So literally, sometimes the way people treat us impacts the way we treat ourselves or feel about ourselves. You're like, how could I feel less than based on somebody treating me less than? Because there's one of me in relationship with everything and with me. That's a bar. So the average person never realizes I'm in more relationships than just the intimate one where I got to be dressed by 7 and go on a date. I'm in relationships with more people than just the person that breathes on the back of my neck and big spoon, little spoon me. I'm in a relationship with more people than the one that you like, I can't believe we doing this. Oh my God. You in a relationship here's the definition I like displaying. Are you listening to me right now? Write this down. You ready? Write this down. You should pause this right here. Okay, I'm going to say it, pause it, and you're like, oh, I missed that. You just double tap the screen on the rewind part. Just go back 15 seconds, right? You ready? Anybody or anything that you give yourself to on a consistent or semi-consistent basis, you're in a relationship with. Woo. Anybody or anything that you give yourself to on a consistent or semi-consistent basis, you're in a relationship with. Let's look. Anybody or anything that you give yourself to on a consistent or semi-consistent basis, you're in a relationship with. One more time for the person in the back. Anybody, persons, or anything, the activities of things that we get, ideas, if it's music, if it's business, anybody or anything we give ourselves to, the gym, on a consistent or semi-consistent basis, we have a relationship with. So if you give you to anybody or anything on a consistent or semi-consistent basis, why do I say consistent or semi-consistent? Consistency doesn't mean every day. If every year I meet you at the same time, at the same place, I'm in a relationship with you. If twice a year, if twice a month, if once a month, it could be consistent or semi-consistent, I'm in a relationship with it. And don't miss this next part, and if I'm in a relationship with it or with them, there is an expectation from me. Wow. Are you peeping the knowledge? Don't pronounce the K. Are you peeping the knowledge? The K is silent. That means if I'm in a relationship on a consistent or semi-consistent basis, there is an expectation from me. And if there is an expectation from me, there is a demand from me. And if there's a demand from me, there is an investment from me into it or them. And there's only so much of me to go around. Wow. There's only so much of me to go around, which means I'm going to disappoint someone. Sometimes I'm going to disappoint myself. I'm going to feel stretched. And when that happens, someone's going to have a broken heart. I'm back where I was at. Oh, so how do I resolve it when we come to friendships? When there is strain, where the cost of being in relationship with you costs me, I've got to break up. Whether that's friendship, relationship. Now, the only way, now here's the caveat, the only time that this does not apply is in my relationship with God. Because the cost of being with Christ is to give up me. Woo! But why would I have to give up me to be with Christ? Because he gives me a new life. My relationship with God starts with his investment in me. So I must break up with me to be in relationship with God. But everybody else, if it costs me breaking up with me to be in relationship with you, it costs too much. So friendships that demand someone like myself who is outspoken, someone who can be considered, what word do I want to use? Loquacious, talkative even, right? Talkative. If I got to dial it back, dumb down, if I can't fully show up as me, it costs too much. Which means I've got to end the friendship. I've got to distance myself. Oh, here's a good one. You ready? Here's another good one. If me and you being friends, where we can talk about our dreams, but when I actualize my dream, it now puts a strain on our friendship. That means we will struggle. Our friendship was based on struggle. You never believed that I was going to do what I told you I would do. You never believed that the dream would come reality. Because if you did, you would have prepared yourself for it. Great friendships, here's the do. Great friendships, family. You know, the longer you friends, what do you normally have? A bunch of photos. Girl, remember this was you. You was much smaller then. Hey, bro, remember that night? You was toe down. You was toe down. You was toe down. Bro, remember that? Remember you had all them liquor bottles on the top of the refrigerator? Right? You're like, you would. So you got a bunch of photos that you can go back through. You got a bunch of memories you can go back through. But great friendships that demand that you don't break up, but you mend it and make sure it works, are those that are not photographs but sonograms, that you constantly look at each other with the excitement and expectation of growth. Get me out of here. I got a baby on the way. And every time, the first time I saw the sonogram, I cried. Okay, the AC was in there, my sinuses, I didn't cry. It was kind of like at the same time I pulled my glass off the wind. So what happened was ceiling fan moved fast, the wind blew in my eye, I slid to the left, and like, okay, I cried. All right. That thing hit my heart. I couldn't see the baby's face. I don't know what my baby will look like. I don't know skin complexion. I don't know smile. I don't know personality. But my excitement was something in there that's not even big enough to hold, but at some point it's going to be big enough to break my heart. And I'm going to have to say, hey, baby, sit down. Something's going to pour some juice. Something's going to kick. Something's going to come out that's going to smell. It's going to graduate. You understand what I'm telling you? Great friendships is the same way. It's like, yo, when we kicking it, I know that if I'm in a friendship with you, I know that the you that I know won't be that way forever. You will not be the size that you are. And if you are, I ain't a good friend to you without challenging you to grow. I can't be friends with nobody. Like, check this out. If it's sonogram type friendships versus photographs freezes you into the moment in which they met you, freezes you in the moment for which they have a memory of you. So photos capture the memories of that moment. There is no advancement in a photo. It just captures that moment. You follow me? Sonogram friendships are those that knows that if there is no growth, something's wrong. I expect you to change. It's not an insult. It's an expectation. I expect you. Listen, I get a chance to coach people and pastor people. I expect everybody I'm in a relationship with to not be who they are from year to year. And I'm willing to go through the process in my friendship to relearn them all over again. Oh, see, this is why there's bad breakup in friendships, because most people are too lazy to relearn the people they met years ago. So it's easier to lock you into a photograph than to do the work that is needed for sonogram type friendships. It's hard work getting to know you all over again. And the busier our life gets, we've got to schedule time to get to know each other in friendships. Hey bro, what you doing? What you doing next week? Man, I'm busy that week. It could be months that we don't talk. And by the time we talk again, it's going to be a long conversation. Because man, I got to show you. Just like you mark the wall of a child's growth, let's mark the years and the months and the days of how much I've grown. Are you getting this? How to deal with a bad breakup. I expect you. Hey, listen. Let's just pretend we in church. Type it in the chat. I expect you to grow. I expect you to grow. It is my expectation that everybody I'm in a relationship with, here's the type. Hey, in 2023, we are no longer going to be in photography relationships. What does that mean? Relationships that demand that I'm frozen into the moment that you met me or the memory we had together. We are going to be in sonogram relationships that we both expect each other to grow. And if we don't, something's wrong. So if a parent sees that a baby is not growing, something is wrong. Where if we friends and I see that you're not growing and you see that I'm not growing, something's wrong and we need to get some help. Oh my God. All right. How to deal with I might as well move to the intimate relationships now. How to deal with the boo, the bae, the boyfriend, the girlfriend. Let's talk do's and don'ts. And then I'm going to get up out of here. Do's and don'ts. I believe that there should be a breakup when, number one, the thing I did not like about you, I'm becoming. It's a telltale sign that it's time to stop being a ride or die and time to break up. And I'm going to talk about how to deal with it. What do I mean when the thing I don't, come on, let me back up so you can write it down. When the thing I do not like about you, I'm becoming. So let's kick it, ladies. I'm going to do this. I'm going to switch both genders so you understand. And this is men cheat and women cheat. So we're going to go into the cheating category. Ladies, if the man keep cheating and you keep forgiving and you say, all right, two can play that game, it's time to break up. Because the thing that broke your heart that you didn't like, you're now becoming. You're not no cheater. That's why I hurt so bad. You know that you're the type that want to be with one person. Don't flip the script and try to become what they are. You are loving. You are loyal. You are loving. You are loyal. You are a lover. You are not a liar. You are not a cheater. So why would you try to flip the script and become what you're not? It's time to break up. When the thing I despised about you, I'm becoming. Fellas, same thing. If you like, she broke your heart. I was working hard. I was trying to make the relationship work. Oh man, I don't know why I do guys' voice like that. Oh, work hard, trying to make. You know what I do? I relax all the feeling in my tongue. You ready? I work hard, trying to make the relationship work. Be serious. I was working hard. I was trying to make the relationship work, man. And the truth be told, she broke me, bro. Like, wow, she cheated on me because she said I was busy working, but I was busy working because I was trying to provide. You know what I'm going to do, bro? I ain't going to end it. I'm going to stay in a relationship, but I'm going to do my thing on the side. Bro, it's time to break up. It's time to break up. Because you don't fix your broken heart by staying in a relationship, but altering who you are while you're in it. If it costs you your character, your core values, your commitment, your loyalty, you're going to alter the DNA of your identity rather than walk away. Oh, can I tell you really quick about a book I read some years ago? And the stat was so startling that it never left my mind. I read this book over a decade ago. I can't remember it in its entirety and the author of it, but I'll tell you the quote. It said that it's from a psychologist, said most women, it said 70% of women have been cheated on and stayed. And it said the reason that they stayed because the pain of leaving was greater than the pain of staying in it. I'm going to say that one more time. Now, I'm not saying just like I'm a proud member and card holder of the Black Men Don't Cheat private Facebook group. So I'm not even on that. That's what she said in the book. So I'm not harping on men to my bros. What up though? We got a meeting this Thursday in the black men. That's not a real group. Somebody like, oh, what days do you guys meet? What's the text? That's not a real group. All right. And you said black men. What about other races? You invited to the cookout too. All right. You could come on, pull up. No women. All right. Don't be like Little Rascals, the He-Man Woman Haters Club. All right. With Spanky and Alpha Alpha. Darla, my delicious Darlene. All right. Y'all don't have no sense. But I'm saying to your family, it's time to break up when you get to a place that you're willing to alter who you are. And the stat is so crazy that the pain of leaving was greater than the pain of staying. You say, I just jumped right back into it. And the pain of leaving was greater than the pain of staying. What does that mean? The thought of having to distance yourself from a person and heal your heart, then stay in it with a broken heart. And I'm telling you, it's time to break up when your heart is broken. It's altering who you are. So what's the don't in this? Do not alter who you are to maintain a relationship to keep proximity. Because the truth be told, the relationship is ended. You just haven't removed the title. You just haven't removed the emotion. The relationship is over. Yeah, it's over already. See, like I'm trying to decide if I should end it. You already ended it. You just haven't walked away from it. Yeah. Yeah. The credits have ran. The movie's over. You just haven't got out of your seat yet. Because most of the time, people end relationships long before they leave them. And this is why people's heart gets so broken. Because when one party is still in the relationship and the other party has broken up with the person but haven't walked away yet, by the time you, let's say, catch them cheating or go to end it, the person is normally callous and cold because they already broke up. You're shocked. They're not. They've been gone. They've been out of it for 6 months. They've already processed and brought themselves closure while in the relationship. Dangerous. So what's to do? Please spot the behavior patterns. So I'm gonna give an example. If you worked a job and and your key card no longer works and they no longer pay you, but they keep letting you come sit at your desk and work, do you still work there? Back it up. If your key card no longer works, but somebody else can open the door for you and you don't get paid anymore, and they still just let you keep coming. Hey, how you doing, Susan? Great. Hey, any clue when we get paid? We got paid today. And month after month, you no longer get paid and you no longer have access, but they allow you into the space. Does that mean you still work there? Now let's flip this to relationship. If access to their heart no longer work, key card, and you no longer get paid, they invest back into you, but you still got access and proximity to them. Are you still in a relationship? Good God, that's good. So how long will you stay in it? What's to do in this, Marcus? Tell him to do. Remember earlier when I said you're in a relationship with you? So sometimes you've got to walk away and end something in order to get back in relationship with yourself. Don't break up with you to keep from breaking up with someone else. Did you catch that? Don't break up with you to keep from breaking up with someone else. How do you break up with you? Where it costs you self-love and time with yourself and depriving yourself of what you need. Because you're in a relationship with you. That's the only way you can be in one with them. Self-love is the foundation of being able to give love to somebody else. But when self-love leaves, you broke up with you in order to love them. Don't break up with you in order to love somebody else. You deserve a committed, consistent relationship with yourself. At the cost of breaking up with everybody and everything else, you deserve a committed relationship with you. The way that I know how to treat me is by the pattern that I see that God treats me. He is unconditional in his love towards me. He is consistent in his love towards me. He never stops communicating with me. He always listens to me, both day and night. He started the relationship with me by loving me when I didn't love him. My relationship with God is the foundation and basis to let me know that how do I deal with a bad breakup? By getting back to the two relationships that are most important. My relationship with God and my relationship with myself. I think that this gonna have to be a part two because I didn't even get into how you gotta physically break up, emotionally break up. I didn't go into financial breakups. So I think we ought to do that next week. But I love you to life. I hope that you've gotten value out of this. This has been another beautiful week of Epic Talks. If this has added value to you, can you do me a favor? Share it with a friend. And I don't want you to miss this Sunday at 12 p.m. I'm teaching something so phenomenal. At the time of this recording, we are in a series called I Do, and this idea of making vows and commitments to God and to ourselves of what our life will look like and being able to live that out. So it's faith and consistency. I want you to be a part of it. I want you also to text the word eNation to 74121, eNation to 74121 to be connected to the Epic Nation. We're a community of faith that this is what we're about. We are about us growing in all areas of life, spiritually, professionally, and growing in personal development, where our goal is to make sure you have everything you need and the answers that you have in your heart, the questions you have in your heart answered from the Bible, meaning if there are questions you have about your faith, you ought to be able to ask them and have them answered. To the boardroom, if you're trying to figure out your purpose, what you should do in a career or within your business. To the bank account, whether it's financial literacy, all the way to the bedroom, and that is not just your intimate relationships, but that's not just you popping and dropping it with your boo or your bae, but I'm talking about those people you care the most about, making sure that's taken care of, all right? I'll see you next week, and I'll see you on Sunday. Have a phenomenal day. Yeah, that's perfect. So that's going to be the main angle. So we got, what, 4 cameras? Yeah, I want to make sure visually they can see everything. Well, since you're here being nosy, what up? Here's what I want you to do. Make sure you don't miss this Sunday. You can come with your bonnet on. You can pull up with your do-rag on. Online only. The Epic Nation every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pull up this Sunday, 12 p.m. The Epic Nation. What y'all doing? Get out of here.
Teaching that we get and the information that we get within the Epic Nation is that it can be added to everyday life. It's practical. It's practical teaching where you can add it to your personal life, your relationship life, your spiritual life, and your financial life. So that is what makes it different. It is a teaching that no one is out here right now teaching on how to balance your life in all 3 of those core areas so that you can live a life in abundance in all of those areas.